again, this entire line is moving very quickly. So if you're hearing us right now, you want to get to your safe place immediately as this line of storms is moving very, very quickly. Seeing that line moving here as quickly as 70 miles per hour at times.
Let's see if we can jump to our wind profile again, see if we've seen that couplet start to strengthen again. Of course, we were tracking those gusty circulating winds earlier across Clark into Marathon County, and now with the inclusion of Lincoln and Marathon County, we want to see if we are seeing any rotating system.
And it's tough to see right now because we are right on the edge of two different radar, but we are still, we are kind of seeing some of these areas with, again, just where the red and green kind of meet here, where there's some signs of rotation. Again, it's very difficult to see here, the rotation here on our radar because the radar is so far away. It's very difficult to detect that, but we're still seeing just with the setup of that line of storms. We'll go back to the radar here where it's bowing out like that, where you kind of see these little notches in here sometimes, like right in here. This area just off to the southwest of Wausau. Those are areas where there could potentially be enough rotation where there could be a brief tornado that spins up. So once again, if you are in the vicinity of this storm, you do want to get to your safe place right now. We're going to track this out here for you and give you an idea of the timing here. Again, it's basically on the doorstep of us here in Wausau right now. Going to zoom out here, move it over just a little bit to track it a little bit better for you. But again, this whole line here that we're tracking, moving off to the east-northeast, moving very, very quickly, about 60 to 70 miles per hour. Wausau, we're talking within minutes here, especially if you're out on the west side. This storm is basically on your doorstep here as we speak. If you're on the east side, you've got a couple more minutes, but you do want to get to your safe place here right now with these damaging winds potentially moving in here, and then continuing on down Highway 52, Highway 29 within the next 10 to 15 minutes. We will see this storm making its way in, and then going off to the north, because again, we do have that tornado warning into Lincoln County as well. We are still tracking that part of the storm as well. And again, you can see another one of those, some of those little notches there that I was talking about where it kind of pushes out ahead of the line. That's where we see some of that rotation, and we could potentially see tornadoes briefly spin up. But again, whether or not you see a tornado, you're still talking the potential for damaging straight line winds. So this portion of the storm, again, moving more off to the north and east, and again, probably making its way into the Merrill area here within the next 5 minutes or so. This is what we are looking at. We're going to take one of the sky cams here. This is looking off here. We're going to get it going here of the west side of Wausau. We're going to show you here again what we're looking at. We're waiting. Our cameras are kind of, there we go. So now you can see that line of storms, those dark clouds on the top of the screen. You can see how quickly they're moving too. This really shows you just how fast this storm is moving here. It's basically on top of this camera here right now. We're going to give you a live shot here just outside of the station. You can see some of the cloud cover. This is looking up here. We're of course on Grand Avenue, just a little bit south of downtown. And this is what we're seeing here right now as we speak outside of the station, looking down. This is in our parking lot here, looking off to the south and west. You can see those dark clouds quickly moving in here, and again, not seeing any specific rotation with this right now, but you can still see the lightning. We're still seeing those strong winds making their way in here, and we're going to go back to our maps here to again give you an idea of what's going on with this storm here, and we'll send it back to Jackson here at the WAOW. We'll let him. We'll have him track some of this out here for us, just to, again, give us constant updates of what's going on.
Yeah, as Brad mentioned, while the wind picture isn't exactly showing that red and green that we talk about all the time, there's other ways of telling where a potential tornadic system could be. And as Brad mentioned, right here across these knocks. Now, most of the area is just going to be seeing straight line wind gusts, which is still very strong. But when we get a knock like this in the line, it means that there is some of that, those winds trying to go a different direction from the other winds, which likely can lead to rotation. And you can see multiple knocks on this line here, one in the western side of Lincoln County, County, northern part of central Marathon County, throughout central Marathon County as well. And that's why the National Weather Service has issued that tornado warning across the county. It's not necessarily for one specific spot that maybe has a tornado on the ground, but rather the potential for a quick spin-up tornado across a large variety of the area. You can see here right around Wausau, just to the west, we're seeing those very heavy spots of rain, likely some very strong wind gusts. So if you are in the Wausau area or anywhere in Marathon County, especially central eastern Marathon County, head to your safe place. And if you can, head to your basement or storm shelter right now. Make sure you're safe. These storms really only sticking around for about 15 minutes. Fast moving storms. It's not going to take too much of your evening out to just hunker down and make sure you're safe, of course, as these storms pass through. You'll notice on the map here, we're seeing a lot of gray popping up as well. That's potential spots of even heavier rain showers in the area and maybe some small hail. But for most of us, it's going to be strong winds, strong straight line winds, and heavier rain where we see these notches. You can see southern, southwestern Lincoln County, just to the southeast of Corning and to the west of Merrill. That's a potential rotating system. That'll likely pass just north of Merrill if it keeps on the current trend. A couple of notches across central Marathon County as well. So this is a potentially very dangerous system moving through. We have earlier had a couple of reports of tornadoes on the ground in the area, and it's very likely that there still could be at least some rotation funnel clouds moving throughout the area. Brad Miller just circled some of these notches where we could potentially see that rotation. You can see it's right around some bigger cities, just to the southwest of Merrill, seeing one of those notches, potentially rotating storm moving into the area, as well as here just south of Maine down Highway 51, just north of the Wausau area. So if you live on the north side of Wausau, you're potentially in a pretty dangerous situation as well, and you should be heading to your safe space as we track later into the evening. We do want to reiterate, after these storms pass through, you will want to wait 5 or 10 minutes, and then you should mainly be in the clear. We are looking at a very sharp line of thunderstorms, which does mean that these storms are likely more intense, but also means they're very short-lived. As we mentioned, you're not going to have to spend the entire night hunkered down. Just make sure you're safe for the 5 or 10 minutes as these storms pass through. Zooming out, you can see it's not just Lincoln and Marathon County. We're now also seeing this tornadic warning, or tornado warning, I might say, extend into parts of Langlade County. Now, it's going to take a little while to get there. We're not really seeing too much heavy rain or strong winds in the Langlade County area, but I'd imagine we'd start to see some of those gusty winds move into the county in just 20 or 30 minutes. So, Antigo, you do have some time to prepare, at least a few minutes, 10 minutes or so, but that storm system is tracking your way, and even if there isn't any rotation or any tornadic signatures, we're still looking at very gusty winds tracking into the area. Can we take a look at what time that warning runs through, Brad?
Yeah, we'll bring it up here for you. The Marathon County warning goes until 8:30, and then we are going to. All right, again, that warning in Marathon County is until 8:30 here. The warning into Lincoln County, that goes until 8:30 as well, and as does the warning in Langlade County. So that's what we're looking at here for the time frame, the next 20 minutes or so. Again, this line of storms really moving quickly. The strongest part of the storm moving right through the Wausau area right now, making its way into Merrill. Again, both areas underneath of under tornado warnings here at this time. If you're not in your safe place here right now, get to it here, because again, these storms are passing through as we speak.
Yeah, just wanted to butt in here and mention, we just got a report, 4,000 power outages just in the Marathon County area. So likely seeing some power lines down across the area, some down trees. As we mentioned, strong winds moving through the area. So you don't want to be caught outside during this storm as it passes through. If the storm is strong enough, I might say, to knock down trees, knock down power lines, that's not a storm that you want to be caught in. So just recent update, 4,000 power outages in just Marathon County. And we're, of course, seeing these storms in the vast majority of the News 9 region. So probably many more power outages far south of that as well. You can see we did just get a warning here. We're going to have Brad Miller update us with the timing on that warning.
Yeah, and we do have a tornado warning now in effect for central Waushara County as well. This does include the city of Wautoma. This right here, this is video from Stevens Point that you can see the rain really coming down there, and it is really windy. And this is the strongest part of the storm here now moving in towards the Stevens Point area. So we're getting a good look at just how strong this storm is. Again, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Stevens Point and Portage County in effect till 8:30. This is a live look from Weston here, and again, you can see the wind starting to pick up there a little bit. You can see the clouds really moving, lightning coming through there, the rain coming down. So all across the area, this is kind of the scene here for us as this line of storms moves through. Going back to Waushara County, just a quick look at that warning. That warning is in effect also until 8:30. Again, this one is moving off to the northeast here very quickly, just like all the other storms are. So we do want to, again, just reiterate how quickly this line of storms is moving and how important it is to get to that safe place before the storms actually get to you.
So, Brad, we know we're, of course, tracking that tornadic storm or potential tornadic storm across Marathon County. We just got that warning issued further southeast in Waushara County. Can we take a look at some of those winds and see if we have any large signature of where that potential tornado could be? You can see that tornado warning just issued here in Waushara County, right over the town of Wautoma. And as we zoom in, you will be seeing some brighter greens popping up on the map here, a little bit of red as well. As we zoom out, you can see these brighter colors of green right around Highway 21, probably some fairly gusty winds. Now, the good news is we're not seeing too tight of green and red next to each other, so the rotation, if we are seeing some, is going to be a little bit more widespread, so not necessarily the tightest storm system with these strong winds, but definitely if you look around, we are seeing some spots showing some pockets of green and red next to each other, and that could lead to a spin-up system. You can see this is the Wausau area. I think I did just see a little bit of a couplet down further south. Can we see?
Yeah, there is. And I want to warn you, we do see this here near Stevens Point. A lot of this is probably radar clutter here in terms of the red versus the green. This is an area where we're kind of picking up two different radar sites at once. So it's difficult to get a really good look at just because these radar sites are so far away. But we do have, either way, you're seeing these bright colors here, and that gives an indication of just how strong these winds are moving in towards the Stevens Point area right now. And we do have Sabrina Lee. She's down in Stevens Point right now, and we're going to take it down there to her and get a live report on what's going on.
Yeah, Brad, I'm over here at Stevens Point, right off of Highway 66, Highway 10, right across from the La Quinta, right over by, we're actually under a BP gas station right now, and you can really see for yourself how dark these skies are, how intense this rain is. It's actually, I don't know if the rain is so intense, it's more of the wind. This wind is incredibly gusty. I've seen the flag over in the corner change about several different times in terms of wind direction. It's certainly blowing this wind and rain all across the area. We're seeing lots of lightning. We're hearing lots of thunder. There's plenty of cars out on the road right now, but I would encourage anyone who is out on the roads to seek shelter immediately. This storm seems like it's only picking up right now, and the wind is rapidly changing direction. So again, if you are out and about in the Stevens Point area, I do urge you to take shelter as this storm system comes through and passes. If you are out on the roads, I would suggest you take shelter, get inside immediately. This rain and this wind is only picking up here. It's incredibly dark out. Again, reiterating, please get inside if you are out and about right now. As of right now, the wind seems to be picking up and changing directions about every 20 seconds or so. But yeah, I'm going to send it back to you guys.
Yes, Brady, I have a couple questions for you, just two here. First of all, can you explain which side of Stevens Point you're on? We are seeing a potential rotation on the eastern side of the city, so that's why I want to ask that. And then also, have you seen any hail reports, or is it mainly just those stronger winds and heavier rainfall that you're seeing right now?
Well, Jackson, I am actually out over by the airport, so more on the eastern side of the city of Stevens Point. And as of right now, it seems to be mostly heavy rain and really just those heavy wind gusts. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not really seeing anything other than that precipitation and the heavy rain and the wind.
Getting some damage reports just off to the south of where Sabrina is as well. Thank you, Sabrina, for that report, and stay safe out there, by the way. We are getting some reports just south of where she was, down towards the Plover area, of some street signs being bent over. This is on Highway 54, just west of Plover. So, again, that's just a little bit south and west of where she was. But, again, anywhere with this line of storms moving through, it does have the potential to produce damaging winds that whether there's rotation or whether it's straight line, you still have the potential to see, again, that those damaging winds as this line of storms is moving through. And you can see the strongest part has made its way through Stevens Point, or making its way through Stevens Point as we speak right now, right alongside Highway I-39, Highway 51. The strongest part of the northern end of this line just making its way past the Merrill area right now. And again, those tornado warnings are still in effect here for northeast Marathon County and the eastern half or so, the southeastern 2/3, let's say, of Lincoln County until 8:30, and also western half of Langlade County until 8:30. Again, that's all associated with this line of storms that has been moving through. We've had a couple of reports when this line was further off to the west, back into western Marathon County, of tornadoes being on the ground near the Unity area, possible tornado damage out near Loyal and eastern Clark County as well. So again, this storm does have the history of producing these brief tornadoes, and again, this is one of those setups here where you can have a very brief tornado spin up and go back up into the sky. Even if you don't get impacted directly by that, you're still facing those straight line winds with this storm system that makes its way through the area. So again, we're focusing right now most of our attention here on this tornado warning here into southeast Lincoln County, northeast Marathon County. The city of Wausau no longer included in that warning. The threat, at least for tornadoes, has now passed through the city of Wausau. But you can see how it does still extend into the rest of northeast Marathon County. Basically anywhere north or east of Wausau, you're still included in that warning until 8:30. Marathon County, you're also included in this as well. And again, that's until 8:30, just for that possibility that you could have a brief tornado spin up within this line. Either way, you're still dealing with severe weather and severe impacts when it comes to those straight line winds as well.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at the highest chance of strong thunderstorm activity right here across the tornado warning. We do want to zoom out a little bit and talk about the rest of the storms we have in store right now. You'll notice behind this storm system, the warnings continue to fall off, but still severe thunderstorm warning across the southern part of Marathon County. Throughout Wood and Portage County, we're still seeing a severe thunderstorm warning. We just brought it out to Sabrina not too long ago, and there was not a tornado warning, but some potential rotation. Thankfully, not seeing a tornado warning right now. And we're still seeing that tornado warning across Waushara County as well. Now, the rotation was fairly loose, but there is still that chance of that rotating system. Does look like a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued across parts of Menominee, Shawano, and Wapaka County, so we're definitely still seeing strong storms moving through, and it's mainly here right across this line as it tracks through the area, and it's going to continue to move through here for the next hour or so as it begins to clear out of the News 9 region, eventually pushing more towards Green Bay and the eastern side of the state. That tornado watch in effect until midnight tonight, but after this line of thunderstorms moves through, probably not going to be seeing any more spin-up storms. You will notice the southeastern corner of the state definitely seeing some fairly active weather, lots of tornado warnings issued there. So if you have any family over towards areas southeast of Wisconsin Dells, give them a call, make sure that they are heading indoors. And of course, if you really live in Waushara County, northeastern Marathon County, parts of Lincoln, Langlade, head into your safe space. You're right now under a tornado warning for a potential tornado. Even outside of those warnings, still seeing very strong and damaging wind gusts. Lots of power outages right now, lots of reports of trees down, and I'm sure there's plenty more that we haven't even discovered yet. People inside being safe, haven't quite gone outside to see exactly what's happened. So very strong straight line wind gusts moving through. I'm curious if we do have any storm reports as we pop up the storm report map here. I think we do have that available to see if we can see any storm damage that we've seen across the area. But even if we don't, here we go. Here's the map. We can see the storm reports, and we'll hit a pause there so we don't have them popping up here over the past hour. And you'll notice there's that funnel cloud that we saw earlier today, or a tornado on the ground that we saw earlier today. Around that, we're seeing, of course, very strong wind gusts. Let's see what the one in the Wausau area. We did just get a report over 7,000 power outages being seen in the area. So very strong storms. I'm sure a lot of power lines are down, trees down as well. You can see here thunderstorm wind gusts in the Wausau area, Marathon County, 60 miles per hour. So we are, of course, looking at very strong storms. We do have tornado sirens firing right now across the area. I'm sure you can hear them outside. Let's take a look off to the west. Earlier, some storms up to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. But really 50, 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts, all strong enough to cause damage. And these storms continue to push off to the east. We're going to get a video look here of what is kind of the situation outside right now and see what it likely looks like. So you can see this is right outside of the News 9 building just a few minutes ago. And you can definitely hear that tornado siren as we did have that tornado warning in effect. Of course, the camera shaking around there a little bit, a lot of rain falling as well.
And I do want to reiterate that Wausau is no longer included in that tornado warning. That video was from a few minutes ago from when the tornado warning was still in effect. But you can see what the conditions were like as that was passing through. And if you're off to the north and east of Wausau, you still are under that warning, so you want to get to your safe place.
Yeah, so that tornado warning, as Brad mentioned, outside of the Wausau area, but you can see it still does extend throughout parts of Lincoln, Langlade County, even northeastern Marathon County, still seeing that potential tornadic system as it moves through. And that is continuing to push through the area. We have to stick on air here with you at least until that tornado drops. We want to make sure that everybody is safe as the storm system continues to push off to the east. You can see this radar picture is just an hour loop. So within this past hour, this storm system has moved all the way from Clark County all the way into Langlade County. And that means that by the next hour, it'll probably be out of most of the News 9 area. So pretty fast moving storm. And as you can see, areas in Langlade County, western Langlade County, Anago, areas around Anago, probably haven't started to pick up with your winds yet, but those strong storms are just outside of your doorstep with those gusty winds as well. Still looking at that tornado warning down in Waushara County as well.
And we're gonna throw a storm track up on here just to give you an idea of some of the timing of these storms here as they're making their way towards you. Again, it's this entire line of storms that we are concerned with here as it makes its way through. And let's see here, we're going to bring that out here. Again, Anago, this is going to be on your doorstep here probably within the next 10 minutes or so. If you're in Wapaka, probably within the next 10 to 15 minutes as well. And we want to point out, while there are no warnings going out into Forest County, if it does extend, if it does hold together that long, we will be talking about that probably in the Leona-Wabeno area a little bit after 9 o'clock. Again, this storm does have a history of not only producing damaging winds, but also has a history of producing tornadoes. At least one officially reported in the Unity area. That was back around 7:45 again, so less than an hour ago, and you can see how fast this line has moved from Unity to where it is right now, just within the past 40 minutes or so. So this line is really booking it. And the good news is, once you're on the west side of this line, you're in the clear when it comes to severe weather threats. You're still going to be talking about rain. You still could be talking about the possibility of some localized flooding out there. But when it comes to the severe weather threats, it's just this line here that we are really concerned with here as it makes its way eastward going forward here. Again, we've been tracking this for the past couple of hours now.
Thank you very much, Brian. We did just get another warning that's going to be a little bit further north. It looks like we might have a severe thunderstorm warning that just got issued up towards the Rhinelander area. As we zoom up there, let's see if we can see how long that's extended till. And it does look like we see that severe thunderstorm warning up towards, you can see Forest, Langlade, and Oneida County all underneath that warning. That runs until 9:15. So these storms are still kicking. You can see up in the Northwoods, not quite seeing that strong line, but still a decent chance of very strong winds moving through the area. I'd imagine that severe thunderstorm warning issued based on the fact that we most likely still have strong winds even outside of that strong line that we're seeing. You will notice the colors have dimmed a bit from earlier. So these storms are weakening as we track later into the evening. And that means here over the next hour or so, we'll probably see more and more warnings drop off. But right now, new warnings have been issued, means there's still very strong storms moving through the area. You can see just how large these severe thunderstorm warnings are all the way through Menominee, Shawano County into Wapaka County. That's a large severe thunderstorm warning. 2 tornado warnings in effect right now. The main, of course, we've been talking about it for at least the better half of the past half hour, is that tornado warning across parts of eastern Langlade County, the western side of Langlade County, I might say, and northeastern side of Marathon County. So still looking at the promise or potential for some tornadic activity. Most of the winds that we're seeing are going to be straight line wind gusts, but even areas that weren't under that tornado warning have been showing, of course, down trees, power lines, things like that, and we've gotten plenty of power outages. This is going to be one of those storms, if you haven't got it hit into your area yet, we're talking about parts of Langlade County, Shawano, Menominee, you haven't quite seen the storms yet. When they do move through, good chance of your power going down. We did just get some power outage numbers. Let's see if we can hop over that. Looks like Marathon County, 7,423 reports of power being out. That is definitely our hardest hit county right now. Lincoln County, 182, Portage County, 165, and Langlade County at 24. So yeah, definitely really strong winds. Most of that I'd imagine is those straight line wind gusts, but we have had a pretty consistent tornado warning across Marathon County. So I wouldn't be surprised if part of that number is due to a tornadic system that passed through and maybe knocked down a large chunk of those power lines across the area. So very strong storms. We'll likely continue to see these numbers climb throughout the evening. Of course, we want to make sure you're staying safe. That's our #1 priority. If your power goes out, it's not great, but you definitely want to be in your safe shelter when these storms pass by. Once they do, you're pretty much in the clear. There still might be some rain showers. You can always check your radar as well on the Storm Track 9 weather app. That'll have the warnings and the radar picture showing where those storms are passing through. Hardest hit at this point, at least from the reports we've gotten, are Marathon County. Of course, there's more people with power to report that in Marathon County, but 7,423 reports of their power being out just in Marathon County. Very strong winds moving through the area. Let's take a look here if we do see any more things on our wind profile as we track through. Of course, we want to make sure we're keeping our eye on those spots that do show the tornado warnings. Right now we have our radar picture showing the heaviest rainfall, and you can see it's not quite a line in some spots, especially here northeast of Gleason. We are seeing a little bit of a bump in this line, or a notch we were calling it earlier. And that is a potential for some rotation. You can see here just to the east of Gleason how this line kind of turns a little bit moving into the area. That's not necessarily confirmed rotation by any means, but does show some promise that there might be a rotating system in that area. We're also zooming in here. You can see a little bit of green here on the eastern side of this area, and there's some red in between too. Essentially what we're seeing when we look at these colors, green is winds going one way, red is winds going the other. So that means that they are circulating around and making a potential rotating system or funnel cloud, the ability for that funnel cloud to appear. So once again, still looking at promise for tornadic systems. We still have that tornado warning in effect.
And actually that has just been dropped as we speak, the tornado warning. That expired, it's 8:30 now, that did expire, but we still do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect with that entire line. So that just because, as we speak, new tornado warning being issued here where that old one has expired too. So we're still going to be looking at that same area with the potential not only for isolated tornadoes, but damaging straight line winds and very heavy rainfall too. We don't want to downplay that either, just because these areas are seeing some torrential rain as this moves through. So there very well could be some localized flooding, especially in those low-lying areas here going as this line makes its way through. Again, the heaviest now has made its way through the Wausau area. Now we have that tornado warning focused on far eastern Marathon County, basically from Hatley off to the east, and then going into northwest Shawano County, going through all of Langlade County now included in this. If you're in Anago, you want to be getting to your safe spot here very quickly. Basically anywhere along Highway 45, this line is about to bear down on you within the next several minutes here. And then again, this will continue to make its way off to the east, then going into up into Oneida County as well. Southeast Oneida County also included in this tornado warning. And again, we have this broad tornado warning issued just because when you have a line like this, where it's kind of bowing out like this, you can have those tornadoes briefly spin up, drop down to the ground, come back up, and all in a matter of less than a minute sometimes. They can be very quick, so we don't want to miss anything. That's why we have such a broad tornado warning. Normally you see them focused on more of a narrow area, but that's not the case here this time. We are still going to be looking at this being more of a broad area of concern here for us, where a tornado could develop at any time. And even if you don't see that tornado, you're still going to see the strong, potentially damaging winds as this storm segment makes its way through. We're going to time out this line here for you again, just to give you an idea of when to expect it in your backyard here. And we'll draw this out here. Again, it's moving off to the northeast here, and it's moving still very quickly here at around 60 miles per hour, just as it has been here pretty much all night long. So we're looking at Anago. Again, really within the next couple of minutes. Anago, this is where you want to get to your safe place here immediately. Rhinelander, you're on the very far edge of this. You're already seeing that make its way in, and the strongest part is probably going to be there within minutes. Crandon, again, you're starting to see the very front edge of this line of rain. I think the strongest part of this when it comes to the wind going to be coming in here within the next 20 minutes or so. Leona, Wabino, again, a little bit after 9 o'clock. Again, you're going to see the rain before this, but with this timing here that we're talking about is when we're expecting the strongest wind to be there for you. And these are those times that we're talking about here as this line continues to make its way off to the north and east.
We just wanted to bring in a couple of new things we just found out. A lot of our damage reports have been coming out of areas east of Colby along Highway N. So that's where we got a few damage reports there, as well as a lot of power outages. And that is nearby the area that we saw that rotation and confirmed tornado earlier. That's likely why the National Weather Service has continued that tornado warning. When it was on the ground, it still didn't show that strong of rotation. But now, even though it doesn't show too strong of rotation, it's still the same system. It's acting very similar to earlier, and we want to make sure anybody in the path of that thunderstorm is prepared to have that storm move by their area. Lots of damage east of Colby, as we mentioned, right around Highway N, and that same storm is still tracking through the area. So that's why we're continuing our coverage here, talking about these storms. Now, the good news is you can see they're clearing out of the area here over the next hour. So we're talking about the storms now moving into Forest, Florence County over the next couple of hours. Menominee going to be seeing these storms here in a little bit. You can see the line of thunderstorms right through Langlade County, likely breaking into Anago about right now. The storm system on the eastern edge of Marathon County moving into Shawano County. And you can see, of course, the Mess's thunderstorms down towards Portage County into Wapaka County. Brad, do you know if we still have that tornado warning down in Waushara County? We were tracking that earlier, too.
Take a look. We do not have that one anymore. That one has been allowed to expire. That storm has made its way out of the area. Now all of the warnings with that particular storm are off to the east out of our area going towards the Fox Cities. So we're not that particular part of the storm, we're not so much concerned with tornado threat anymore, but you can still see the severe thunderstorm warnings in effect with that line. Basically, anywhere in front of this line, you're again impacted by either a severe thunderstorm or a tornado warning. So if you are in the path of this line, you do want to get to that safe place. We have been getting a lot of power outage numbers out there. They continue to climb here. Marathon County, a couple hundred more. Lincoln County now up over 1,000 here, up over over 1,400 as a matter of fact. And Portage County, Langlade County, Oneida County all seeing some power outages as well. And I would not be surprised to see those numbers go up a little bit here as we get more reports in over the next couple of hours. Again, these storms have really packed a punch here for us, especially going through Marathon County. Again, a lot of those damage reports that we've also been getting have been out in the western part of the county, out towards the Colby, Unity area, and then even into eastern Clark County, some damage reports out towards the Loyal area. So that's kind of where everything started up here for us, and that's where, again, everything has developed from there, and we're still talking about those tornado warnings here right now, again, as we speak. We've got our map back up here, and you can still see that line making its way off to the north and east. Again, just going to track this out here again for you. Again, the main part of this line is just making its way across Highway 45 here right now. So we'll continue to bring this out here, and again, just moving very quickly here, redo that here for you. Just drawing this out again, just within the next 45 minutes. If you're within this red area, you've got these storms on your doorstep. Again, whether you're in the tornado warning or the severe thunderstorm warning, still want to get to that safe place, because essentially a tornado can spin up with a system like this at any point, and it's very difficult to say just within a matter of seconds that this, whether this is going to drop down as a tornado or just be straight line winds. Either way, they have the potential to produce damage. But again, storms making their way right across Highway 45 right now. Anago, you're starting to get the brunt of it here as we speak. You're included in that tornado warning, as is all of Langlade County right now. Southeast Oneida County and Western Forest County also included in that here. Again, continuing here for us going forward until 9:15. So we are still going to be continuing to track this here for you. If you're in the Pearson area, that's the heaviest, the strongest winds are going to be on your doorstep here in the next couple of minutes, going out towards Wabeno.